Module 1, Section 5. This is one of my favorites. This is high value activities for active grandparenting. And these are the activities that we can do as grandparents that parents love, the things that make their lives easier and less stressful and make us always welcome. I am not suggesting that you kind of be a servant to your children by providing high value activities. What I'm suggesting is that these high value activities that make your children's lives easier help you become a dynamic part of family life. So think about those families, those traditional families in the blue zones where the grandparents are literally living in the home with the families, and the grandparents are helping the parents by cooking meals and helping with the chores around the house and things like that. So think of your role as a grandparent as an opportunity to become a part of your children's families lives. And when you change your mindset and think of it this way, you want to be of value. You want to be helpful. You don't want to be a burden on anybody. So, this section is when we go over some of the most common high value activities. And you're probably already doing many of them, but it's good to go through it anyway and learn there may be some new things that you hadn't thought of. You may also create some very special high value activities that are unique to your family, and that's wonderful too. So remember, with active grandparenting, what you're doing is you're learning, first of all, how to take great care of yourself. So you don't need help yourself. You can be helpful to others. And second of all, how to make your role as a grandparent really this essential part of your children's family life, and high value activities help you do that. So I'm just going to run down this list, and some of my favorite things, are things like meal prep because, well, I love to do that. But you may not. You may just be somebody who wants to order food, and that is equally as helpful as a high value activity. So some of the biggest high value activities are childcare and babysitting. So there are people like my sister-in-law who provide weekly childcare for one of her grandchildren. So she is the Monday through Friday babysitter for that child, and they have a contract. She gets days off. There's a lot of clear communication around that, so nobody feels resentment or frustration, and that there's no unexpected curveballs that could disrupt that really great relationship. So that's why communication is so important when we look at this role as a grandparent. For me, my husband and I come in and we do grandparenting intensives. So when our daughter and her husband go on vacation or go to a wedding, or sometimes just when my son-in-law is traveling, we will come in to help our daughter. And so that's a different kind of grandparenting, but at the same time, it requires the same skill set. So babysitting and childcare require us as grandparents to be in great physical shape. So we've got to do what we can to be strong enough to keep up with the grandkids safely for them, safely for us. We've got to be up on technology so that we can be left with the children, and the parents are not worried that we're not using the baby monitor properly or the kid's not strapped in a car seat correctly. Um, and we've got to be able to communicate clearly, because this all comes down to expectations between parents of what we're going to do as grandparents to help them, and between us with our children, so we know what's expected of us. One of my favorites is always meal prep. I happen to love to cook. So when I go to my daughter's house, my husband and I will stop at the grocery store and pick up the things that we want to have for ourselves on hand. and pick up the things that we're going to use for meal prep. And that's a lot of fun. My daughter loves it because she'll give specific meal requests. And if you're not a cook, don't worry. We've got a whole section in this program for you about how you can be helpful with food, even if you don't like to cook. So you can order takeout, but remember to make it healthy and nutritious, because what we're really doing here is we're nurturing everybody. You're taking better care of yourself by eating healthy. You're taking better care of your kids and your grandkids by serving them healthy, nutritious food. So meal prep is a big one, and cleaning up after meals. Maybe you didn't cook the meal, but you can be helpful by cleaning up. Household help, there's endless chores around the house. As you remember when you had kids, the laundry's never ending. The pets need care. There's toys to be put away. There's meals to be prepped. So helping around the house, just running a vacuum cleaner, folding laundry while you watch a show. These are high value activities that really help parents out. Emotional support and advice. Parents are overwhelmed today. I can't even imagine what it must be like. All the information that's available to new parents about how to parent, what's safe, what's not safe, how much screen time, how should you put your child to bed? Should they be in a sleep sack? Should they not be in a sleep sack? A lot of information for new parents. Offer support, offer emotional support, a hug when needed, a good listening ear. It's really important to be a good listener, not offer too much advice, but ask a lot of questions and be a source of wisdom. If your kids really want to know, what do you think I should do? But don't offer a ton of unsolicited advice, because that can add to the overwhelm. Transportation assistance is a big one. Helping get your grandchildren to appointments and schools, going with your child to take your grandchild to doctor's appointments, staying home and babysitting other grandkids, or taking the pet for a walk when the parent needs to, take a child to the doctor or run an errand. Organizing family events. Your child may be feeling ambitious and want to host a family holiday. How can you help with that? Um, you know, Helping assign tasks around holidays so that too much of the burden doesn't fall to your child. Taking photos, capturing family photos, and creating photo albums. This is a huge one. Very often, new parents have 60,000 photos on their phone of their new child or of their kids, but they don't have time to put them into a memory book. This can be a really fun, high value activity for us as grandparents. Financial assistance. This is a big one. If the new family or your children really can't afford certain things and you can, this is a high value exchange. This is where you offer to pay for the cleaning lady or the dog walker, or you order and pay for some groceries. There are many ways financial assistance can take burden off your children as parents. And if your family can afford that, that can be a really welcome high value activity. Pet care. Pets are very often the first children. Your first grandchildren might have been a dog or a cat. And then a new baby comes along, and those pets might need some additional love. So, offering either to take the pet or come and walk the pet or pay for some extra pet walking, whatever it is, don't neglect those furry grandbabies that are your pets, are your children's pets. And that is another way to bring high value activity. Specialized care. I know that many of today's young families are dealing with children that struggle with ADHD or autism or even physical or other mental challenges. So, how can you, as a grandparent, be of assistance? That's an extra burden on a family. So, This is where communication is so important. We can't assume we know what parents need and want from us. We have to communicate clearly to find out what would be the most helpful. So this is again, we're offering to pay for a cleaning service, or if you're not nearby, offering to pay for a babysitter for the other children, setting up Zooms to visit with your grandchildren. Help can be provided from afar as well as nearby. So, it's really important to not think that because you don't live nearby, you can't be helpful. We can all participate in these high value activities. And it's really important to communicate clearly with your children and their partners to get clarity around what would be the best high value activities for that family. So print out this sheet. You get a PDF with all of these. You can print these out and put them in a program, create a book for yourself, like a bound book, and keep all this information in there because you're going to want to refer back to it. So remember, high value activities are what get the welcome mat rolled out for grandparents.